Hey there, and welcome to Tales of Treasure with PüTzu from around the world and beyond. I've brought some fun things from around the world and beyond to share with you today. Tell you a little bit about myself, how I got started. Like I said, this is my first ever PowerPoint presentation. It's not exactly. So seriously, I was like 4 years old and some guy was liking my mom, so he gave me some rocks. And that turned me on to it. Every time we went on holiday, I needed to find the rock shop. I wanted to go find rocks in the ground. I was mining for starlights and quartz at 8 years old, and I was panning for gold at 9. Later on, I don't know what years, 9, 10, 11, 12 grade, whatever that is for you guys. Got into girls and cars, so I kind of forgot about rocks a little bit until I went to university. And I was like, oh, rocks again, those are so cool, let me try those out. And I was into it until they started talking chemistry and physics. And then I was like, vampires, I don't like science like that at the time. I was a philosopher, I studied Buddhism and Taoism. And then around 98, I figured out that, around 98, I figured out there was a career in it for me, that I could find treasure around the world and sell it, share it, tell stories about it. So that's the path I'm on now. I'm self-trained completely. I've read books, I've asked questions of the interwebs and the people any chance I get. I absorb it like a sponge. This morning, Phil and I were having discussions about how water can or cannot solely wear away rocks. If it can be done by just water, if it has to have abrasives in it. And so we got into a big discussion. Came up with an answer. We don't know if we're exactly right or not. It seems like the particles in water could just be other solvents, other like a little bit of carbonic or carbonates, like causing a little bit of friction or acid there in the water, so over time it can wear away. So anyway, always trying to learn as much as I can. I've been underground in over 100, you heard this last night on TV, in over 100 mines, over 30 countries and 5 continents. The one I'm missing is my closest neighbor, South America. I've never set foot on the soil. As soon as I do, I'll go find a rock. What's that? The bee. It's not a bee. I've shown some people this picture before. You can see it's oval. It's an oval limb cast from Java, Indonesia, with a cicada casing, an adult cicada casing inside of it. I was in Vietnam. I got the call from one of my suppliers in Java that I've been working with and asking to find me an insect, because there'd been one found in like 2016, and the Smithsonian did a write-up on it, a couple other labs did write-ups on it, and after the fact, they determined that it was a cicada larva. So Occam's razor says that this should be a cicada casing. It's not a bee, it's an adult-grown cicada casing. I picked it up in 19 when I got the call. I told them I'm coming. I flew to Bangkok. I already had a flight to Bangkok. I bought a flight from Bangkok to Jakarta. I was on the ground for 14 hours, got this and a few other things, and was back in Bangkok in my same hotel room that night. That was the moment of like my pinnacle of like my exploration, my treasure hunting, was getting this thing. Sold it to Levinsky for a lot of money right before COVID started, and on I went buying more rocks and switching. I'm a trader. I love to trade rocks. So, a bunch of years ago, I got switching gears, sorry, I can't do that. I got a Larimar. Everybody familiar with Larimar? It's a pectolite. It's got copper in it from the Dominican Republic only. I got one that was more of a section, and I learned that it was a xylolarimar. It's a fossil cycad. It was inundated by volcanic ash and then turned into pectolite, and then the copper leached into it. So I brought one, pass it around and look at it. This is a bit of a section. It's not as distinct as some. People thought there were lava tubes, and maybe there are other reasons. There has been science done to show that it is a fossil plant that then turned into this Larimar stuff. I'm hunting some down because I think it's really neat. I got to share it with people and let people learn about it. So you can sort of see that's a bit of a section of a limb, like a slice of a limb there. This is the Greenlaws mine. Another call I got when Pete Ward had been digging for 9 years on the other side of that hill. permission from the farm owner that had sheep to dig. And for 9 years he dug without major equipment by hand until he broke through the other side of the hill into a chamber that linked up with this old attic. It's all totally caved in. We haven't been inside there yet. I don't think anybody's been inside this way yet. But we came in the back way. And I got the call. I was at the Denver show, and I'd already been talking to him and getting some material and working with him. Going to sell it. Going to be the main guy in America selling the Greenwalls mine stuff, fluorite, from Weardale, England, like near the Rogerley mine and Diana Maria and all that same valley there. So he had broken through, and I bought my ticket. I'm there like 2 weeks later. I'm in England, I'm going to the mine, one of the first people to get in with them. And we found stuff like this, which is an old flask. We found one with a cork still in it. We didn't open them up. We left things undisturbed. We put caution tape around it in the theory that we'd take people on a treasure hunting adventure tour to go visit and see how this was. There was burned and unburned matches. I wish I had a picture of the one miner's boot. There was an old leather boot, all worn out, the sole was worn out, and the strings had been retied in a bow and broken a number of times, so we left that there, we left all this stuff there. And as I said, nobody had been in here. We determined nobody had been in there since May 14th of 1866. Because somebody scrawled this on a chamber in the mine when we were back in there somewhere. So we found lumps of clay that had sheet tallow candles stuck into them and stuck on the wall for light back then, because this is like 1800s they were digging there and doing stuff. That was the first place that they found fluorite, or named fluorite. All right, so more show and tell. I hope that at least one or two of you don't know about this, because I like to find new information. When I learned about this, I was quite blown away. So I'll start with the Australites, local to you guys. Chris could speak up and say exactly where they're from, but I found the label. From Kalgoorlie region in Western Australia. So these are tektites. Tektite is when the meteorite comes through the atmosphere, hits the earth so hard, melts it, and creates these things, these artifacts. They're tektites. They went to space and came back. They bounced so hard they went to space and came back to Earth. This one, you pass it around and look at the shape of this. I know it's dark, but I think you can still sort of see it and get the light on it. When NASA was determining the shape of the Apollo 11 capsule, they used this to model it after, or the shape of the Australites, because when they came back in the atmosphere and they built that dome around them, they were coming in the perfect angle, the perfect shape, and everything. So that was the best way for the Apollo 11 capsules to come back in, any space capsule to come back in, is to be that shape, naturally, so it would just come back in. So that's what this is. It's an Australite that has that shape. That was fascinating to me, that's what NASA did. They used that science to determine the shape of the Apollo 11 capsules. So that's the Australite. So we know that meteorites come from 3 places in the universe. We've identified only 3 places. They come from all over the universe and come to the Earth. The 3 places we've identified are the moon. We went to the moon, we got some rocks, we analyzed, and we got a fingerprint from them. From that information, we were able to use telescopes with spectral analysis to determine that the fingerprint from the rocks on Mars matched up with fingerprints from rocks that we found on the Earth. And the 3rd place is Vesta. It's an asteroid. And we've done analysis of that from a distance that we could tell what it is, what the fingerprint, what the characteristics we look for are. So this is a piece of Bayshar 006. They name meteorites from where they find them on the Earth. This is a lunar meteorite. 20 years ago, this would have been $5,000 a gram. Because we were able to identify more and more of them around the world, the prices come down to something reasonable, and $100 a gram, thereabouts, more or less, and depending on the character of the piece. So that was found in Morocco or Algeria, between the border. Lots fall there. They find them because there's the desert and they don't weather away. Like you have lots here, but they've weathered away. Or you've got tektites over a heme skirt, and they've been buried by the soil and weathered away, so they're not easy to find. The ones there are easier to find. So, as I said, the 3 places, that's a lunar meteorite. It's a bit fragile, that's why it's in the box. This one you can just hold and enjoy. This is Vesta. This is, oh no, sorry, that's the Umgala. That is Umgala 001, which is Mars. So you're holding a piece of Mars right now. Science says it's so. Some people will argue the point. Science says it's so. Here's another, so that's a slice. The first one is a slice of the moon. These are lunar fragments, whole lunar fragments that, they found them, they're whole pieces. Don't jiggle them around like dice, they're pretty stable, but they're really neat the first time I got to hold the moon, I was over the moon about it. That's Umgala, and this will be, so this one's really interesting to me. I picked up all of these in Munich at the show last month. I've really been fascinated by it my whole life, and I started getting into learning more and dealing with them and being able to acquire them. So this one is the Vesta. This is the asteroid Vesta, and it's a slice of an asteroid of the Vesta. The guy that I got it from has sent in the sample to the Meteorological Association to determine exactly what it is. He's certain it's Vesta. It's a eucrite. There's different types. The Martian one is called a Shergotite. I'm not going to be able to tell you all the difference. I'm learning as I go. And the Umgala Martian Shergotite is from Algeria. It was found in Algeria. The eucrite from Vesta was found in Morocco just this year. And so I can email the guy and probably have an answer. He was waiting for the answer. It's been a month now, so he's probably got the answer. I don't know how long I went. I think that's the end of what I prepared. I don't know what time it is or anything. I can answer questions. I can tell more stories.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks. Yeah. Anybody have questions about anything that I can help with?
Just interested, is there any replacement of the artifacts
In the what?
Is there any fossilization or replacement of the artifacts
I didn't find any fossilization of anything. It's Oh, like on the flask? Like that? Like on the flask? Yeah, it was rust. Red coating of rust, I would say. So I guess iron oxide replacement is going on. What do you think about that? I'm waiting for the call to go and chase meteorites. I get to fly anywhere in America for free at the drop of a hat. So as soon as I get the call for a meteorite in America while I'm there, as long as it's not during Tucson, I'm gone. I'm chasing that meteorite down.
A lot of meteorites are found in Morocco.
Yeah.
Is that just because of the open sand country like the Sahara?
Yeah, and the lack of weather.
So you got a black object on sandy yellow water.
Yeah, although that leads to a lot of meteor wrongs too. So that, and then up in the Arctic as well. You can find them in the Arctic. Apparently, I haven't searched for them in the Arctic, but apparently you can find them in the Arctic as well.
A lot in the Nullarbor too, if you get to walk around there apparently.
What's that?
A lot in the Nullarbor too, in places like that where you got a lot of really white, limey, understanding sort of country. And,
Yeah.
Probably a lot more around that people just don't recognise.
Right. Yeah. I've been careful about claiming something's a meteorite or telling somebody something's a meteorite. I have my own testing equipment now, and I used to pay to have tests done. I had a store, and somebody came in with, "Is this a meteorite?" I was like, "Well, I can send it off and get it tested for $45." okay, do that. So I did that, and the test came back, and I said, it's not a meteorite. I never heard from him again. I didn't get paid my 45 bucks. No big deal, but I paid for it out of my pocket.
You didn't do that once, eh?
Yeah, now it's pay up front, you know? Like, I do testing right in Tucson. I've tested diamonds, phenokite, chlorites, things that people want. And I can test it in seconds. If I have a piece I can put on board my machine, it's a Raman spectrometer. If I can put it on board, I can test it in seconds. Like if I have a piece that sacrificed a grain of sand, or no, grain of rice, not a grain of rice size. If that's sacrificed, then I can test it right on board. Otherwise, sometimes I have to leave the testing going overnight. And then I come back the next morning and either have a result or have a failure. Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoy coming here. Thank you.
Very excited. So now we're just got some tea and coffee that's